Welcome to Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt of the Marquardt Law Firm at marquardtlawfirm.com.
Welcome to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt. On the radio, on podcasts everywhere, on Facebook, and on YouTube. Also, check out talklawradio.com. Today here with me is Shannon Roberta Salmon. She's going to be talking about the jail and the deaths in Bexar County with me.
You nailed that. You're getting so much better.
Very serious topic.
It is. But let me tell just a little light thing first. You used to not be able to say Roberta so beautifully like you just did.
I practice. I wake up in the morning and I look at myself in the mirror and I say, today I'm going to be meeting with Shannon Roberta
Here, don't leave me
Salmon.
hanging. Here. You nailed it.
Thank you. So today's episode is where public safety meets human rights and constitutional law.
Right. We have
You
laws for a
probably
reason, yeah.
have heard about the deaths in Bexar County at the Bexar County Detention Center. And the reason this is important to me is because in the Bible, Matthew chapter 25, verse 40 says, when you do unto the least of these, my brethren, you have done unto me. And it goes on to say, then shall he say also unto them on the left hand, depart from me, ye cursed, into everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was and hungered, and ye gave me no meat. I was thirsty, and ye gave me no drink. I was a stranger, and ye took me not in. Naked, and ye clothed me not. Sick, and in prison, ye visited me not.
Yeah.
And so in the Bible, it says that we should visit people in prison.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody that's there right now that I can remember, so I'm not visiting anyone. But I did want to remember people in prison and speak for them when they can't speak for themselves.
Right. There are brothers and sisters. And remember what Shannon Locke had said, that it could so easily be us or our children or,
Right,
it
because
affects
there's
us.
so many laws that might affect you that you might not know about. So always listen to Talk Law Radio and tell your friends and family to listen also so that you know and don't fall into a hidden legal issue blind spot.
I think people should do that.
Right.
Agreed.
I wanted to give some facts about this issue. Some people don't read the news, or maybe they've just turned a blind eye to people in prison because, after all, they must be criminals if they're there, right? Maybe a judge or a jury said that they did it and they should be punished and confined. Well, if you haven't heard the statistics so far, since year 2000, there's like 91 people in Bexar County that have died in prison.
Oh, I thought it was
jail.
2020.
Oh, that's what I meant to say.
Yeah,
2020.
Since 2020,
Yeah.
91.
Thank you for correcting me.
And then before that was significantly less. Before 2020, the numbers had not skyrocketed like that. So
Right.
it begs the question,
What happened?
what's going on? How can we do better? What's
Right.
happening?
Well, just this year so far, in January, Juan Plata Pena Jr., age 49, died of a medical condition.
I'm so glad you're going to say the names. That is so respectful.
Yeah, they're people too.
Of course.
In February, Tammy Hovland, age 59, died after being attacked by her cellmate. She sustained head injuries from the assault and died. In April, Joshua Aaron Reyes, age 24, died by apparent suicide. In June, that's this month,
Right.
Elizabeth Ann Nero, age 57, died after experiencing a medical episode. We don't know what that is. It wasn't reported in the news. June 7th, Reyes Antonio Charas Jr. age 44, died. Bexar County Sheriff's Office believes that it was due to not being detoxed properly. I don't know that much about
Proper detox procedures.
Are you familiar with that issue?
Forgive me, no, I don't know the proper procedures.
So anyway, that we want to speak for these people and just highlight the issue so that we can care for those who are imprisoned, even if we don't want them to do whatever they did to end up there.
Or allegedly, like we were talking about, people are detained even pre-conviction.
Right. So,
at the jail, at the Bexar County Jail.
If you're arrested, they might just put you in jail that same day. And then if you don't have money to post bail, then you just have to stay there.
That's right.
But that's not meant as a punishment. That's just meant to make sure that you show up for the next hearing, right?
Right. But our Constitution says that you're presumed innocent if you've been accused of a crime. So why are you being detained for long periods before you even get to a court to be convicted?
Right. So does everybody have to go to jail? I mean, there's probably different seriousness categories. Right. You know, somebody might be violent.
Right.
If they're violent, maybe they should stay there.
Right.
But if they wrote a bad check, or if they, we used to have checks back in the olden days.
I remember.
Or if if they just had a bag of narcotics in their pocket that was for their own personal consumption, maybe that's not something they should be jailed for.
Right. Maybe a ticket,
Or just, let them go home and then say, you have to appear on this date.
Right.
And if they don't appear, well, then that's a separate crime.
Right. Just trying to exist as an unhoused person, so there's not really any place for you where you're not trespassing, if that makes sense. So you're just walking around the streets and you can be accused of.
Lots of places that they could go, like Salvation Army, or what's the other place, the big one?
Haven
for Hope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true, good point. But what I've been seeing is a lot of criminal trespass cases where people that maybe it's drugs or maybe it's mental illness, but they're getting picked up just somewhere that they're, someone didn't want them there. So move along to somewhere else, but where are you supposed to go?
So the reason we're talking about should everybody be in jail is because overcrowding is part of the issue. And they don't have enough deputies at the jail to do everything that needs to be done.
Yeah.
I think the number I saw was they're 150 personnel short.
Okay.
That's a lot.
Okay.
How can you run an effective jail with not enough deputies?
Mm-hmm. I hadn't seen those numbers. I believe you. In the case we were talking about, the one from California, I know that was an issue, the overcrowding.
So the constitutional issue here is the Eighth Amendment to the Constitution says no cruel and unusual punishments.
Right.
And if you have a detox problem or a medical problem, a heart problem or a drug problem, or you have diabetes or anything, and they don't take care of you, your medical and health needs, the Supreme Court has said that that's cruel and unusual punishment.
Right. We were talking about that case, the really interesting one where the cotton had fallen, the one from 1976.
That's Estelle versus Gamble.
Yeah, the one here in Texas. He was injured on a work detail,
right,
and he hurt his back. And as you're reading the case, you can tell he was in a lot of pain. I mean, it really, comes through. I've had back pain before. It's really, really painful.
So he went to the doctor 17 times over a 3-month
Yeah.
period, and they gave him pain medication and muscle relaxants.
Right.
But then they always told him to go back to work.
Right. Yeah. So he changed the law. I mean, did you notice that he had handwritten his the briefs that he was filing
Oh,
and
no,
his
I
petitions?
didn't read that part.
Yeah, it was a little part of the case where they mentioned that he was writing them by hand.
You know, this is just a sidebar comment, but one of the attorneys in my office said that he was going to do this probate case, for a will, and he was almost on his way to the courthouse, but the court called him and said, don't bother coming in because it's not uncontested anymore. Somebody filed a contest. And so he checked the online records to see the contest filing, and it was literally a napkin.
Wow.
Somebody wrote, I hereby contest the will on a napkin, and so the clerk had to scan it and upload it to the file system.
Wow, good story. It happens.
Right. Okay, so there's this court case, Estelle versus Gamble, that had an effect on constitutional law, because it's not enough to have the Eighth Amendment that says excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted, because cruel and unusual had to be defined.
Right.
And so that's where the Supreme Court steps in.
Did you notice a lot of the cases involved juveniles? Like some of those early cases, the Eighth Amendment cases?
I did not.
What they could do with juvenile cases?
Yeah, well, I don't know if I learned this in law school or if it's just common sense that a juvenile shouldn't face the same punishment as an adult.
Yeah. But I found that interesting because there were several where they were saying, juveniles shouldn't be facing the death penalty and they shouldn't be facing these same punishments like adults were facing.
Right. Did you get a chance to read Brown versus Plata?
I did. Yeah.
What were some of the facts of that case? Overcrowding in California prisons, right?
Right. Well, the part that jumped out to me was that they won, right? They won the case.
Mm-hmm.
And the Supreme Court said, yeah, we're going to release 42,000 convicted prisoners.
Oh.
And they just did it, right? I mean, was that your understanding too when you read it?
I didn't get that far. I was relying on you.
Oh, okay. The pressure. I'm glad I read it.
But they really should evaluate the seriousness of the crime convicted of and whether or not they were a violent person.
They might have done that. I mean, it didn't say, but they mandated, look, you have to reduce the population.
Mm-hmm.
They were over by something like 20% of their max where they were supposed to be. People weren't getting medical care. There was mental illness that was untreated. Just, everything you can imagine with overcrowding, the kind of problems that would happen. So the Supreme Court said it and they had to do it. Can you imagine that day?
No, I would stay home that day.
Yeah.
So the Supreme Court has said inadequate incarceration conditions, including deliberately denying necessary medical care or subjecting prisoners to hazardous, inhumane conditions, can also trigger Eighth Amendment violations. Years ago, it's probably been 10 years, I did visit somebody at the jail, and they were telling me it's so hot in here.
Which jail? Where were you?
The one downtown.
Oh, the Bexar County jail?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never heard that there.
I heard that there's no air conditioning.
Really?
That it's usually like 100 degrees.
Okay. Well, my experience with my clients at the Bexar County Jail, they're cold. They're always too cold.
Oh,
I mean, it's
okay.
not, it's not an ideal situation, but I did not know they didn't have
Well, maybe
AC.
it was broken for this guy. But I think that you can manage people that tend to be on the angry side more so if it's cold than if it's hot.
I've heard that they do that deliberately. Well, I do know that in there are some prisons where they literally don't have air conditioning in Texas heat, and in my humble opinion, that is an Eighth Amendment violation.
Right.
Maybe it wasn't in 1970 before we had these crazy temperatures. Maybe there was more ventilation. I don't know. But right now, I know that there are prisons where the inmates, they'll flood the toilets just to survive because they'll lay down on the floor and lay in the water. I mean, it'll get to be like something like 130 degrees. I know that sounds crazy, but think about it. It's cinder block. There's no air conditioning. You can have a fan. Like sometimes you can have a fan unless they decide you don't get it. And as a punishment, they're taking your fan away. But think about your oven. The fan is just blowing hot air onto people. So every year in Texas, we lose people. They're literally using our tax dollars to cook people in our prison system right now. I put one time on my Facebook, I put this little story that there were animals in an animal shelter that didn't have air conditioning and they were suffering. And everybody on my Facebook jumped up, where is this place? We've got to go save these animals, And then I kind of did a, reverse Uno and I said, well, thanks for your concern, but they're actually human beings. Oh my gosh, people got so mad at me. So really, really angry. But I think that it's a valid point that we wouldn't treat animals that way.
Right.
But our tax dollars are literally, I've heard testimonies that the cinder block, if you lean up against it, it will burn you.
Wow.
That's how hot it gets. And they say if you want to experience it yourself, sit in July, get in your car, and try and sit in your car with the windows up for 30 seconds. See if you can make it 30 seconds with no AC on, and that will give you the prison experience.
Yeah. Well, another sidebar story. I was visiting my dad one time, and I get in his car, and I start asking him about something. And he said, hold on. My wife says the first thing I have to do is turn on the car and the air conditioner before we can do anything else. Because it does get hot.
Yes. Yeah.
But have you ever had somebody that got in the car and they're driving, and so you have no control over what to do?
Yeah.
And they're just chatting about something, and you're dying of heat.
Yeah.
Has that happened to you?
Yes, it has.
So you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do. Thank you for listening to my rant about air conditioning in prison, by the way.
No, I think that you're absolutely right that it's cruel and unusual because they're confined. You can't do anything about your situation if So
you'll probably get some comments. You'll get some people saying, well, it's not supposed to be comfortable. They shouldn't have done, what they were convicted of doing.
Yes, I agree. But the Bible says, when you do unto the least of these, my brethren, you do unto me.
Mm-hmm.
So Jesus says that we should be kind and show mercy to even those that are in prison.
Yeah, it's right there. You read it a minute ago.
And if we're a Christian nation,
yeah,
then we should follow the Bible.
Yeah. Amen.
The reason that comment's funny is because, to me,
to me,
is because we have
Mark's laughing.
We have this conversation about Christian nationalism, and it's not defined anywhere by any political party.
Yeah.
And so you can't really put your hand on it and say, what you said, Todd, was Christian nationalism.
Right.
Now, there might be people on the internet right now who are roasting me and canceling me for saying that. But I'm just trying to show people that there's an issue where for some reason people in our hometown are dying in prison, and we shouldn't let that happen.
Okay. In the Bexar County Jail, you mean?
Right.
The deaths over there?
Yeah.
Well, we don't know. I mean, the truth is we don't know what's going on. All we're noticing is that the numbers are increasing.
Right.
So we're not the only ones talking about this. I mean, there's several, local agencies that are on this LULAC. I think it's called, there's a Facebook group of moms that have lost children in the Bexar County Jail. I think it's called Moms, I'll have to look it up.
But there are solutions to this problem, and it doesn't have to be just letting everybody out. In 2007, Governor Rick Perry had some proposals. He called it the Texas model, and it wasn't to build new prisons. In fact, he closed 11 prisons. Instead, he spent money or gave money to counties and to establish specialty courts like drug courts and mental health courts, veteran courts, and DWI courts, and jail diversion programs.
Who's this again? I'm sorry.
Rick Perry.
Oh, okay.
He's not my favorite governor because
I remember him.
He changed the personal injury laws so that there's a cap on
But you don't do PI. Why do you
damages.
care about that?
Because of older people. When they're neglected in the nursing home.
Oh, okay. Good point.
Their attorneys won't take those cases.
It's called No More Deaths. And then, so people can find that on Facebook.
Okay.
Or Act 4 SA or LULAC. They're also,
right.
There's a lot of agencies, a lot of people jumping on this issue. Concerned
Which
about it.
they shouldn't have to, because Rick Perry had some programs that were working. Maybe what's happening is the resources were diverted from where the money was supposed to have been spent. So if they had been focusing on medical and mental health issues and detox and technology to identify medical problems, then maybe these medical and detox problems wouldn't have happened. So Rick Perry already had these ideas in 2007.
Okay.
I think maybe the people down in the county offices, the municipal people that make the rules, should review Rick Perry's Prisons the Texas Way handbook.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, you know what I'm thinking. I'm not. you're just teasing me. So what do you think of the new jail? Diversion?
You told me about the diversion center, but I haven't read anything about that.
Yeah.
It was an issue in the election between Sakai and Nuremberg,
right,
for county judge.
Yeah, Sakai was against it and Nuremberg was for it.
Sounds like another jail to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't read the details. If you know something about the Bexar County Diversion Center, email me at host@talklawradio.com, host@talklawradio.com, and maybe I'll have you on the show. We can talk about it again, and I'll bring Shannon back under the bright lights, and we can delve into the details.
Yeah. Well, if they can't fix the current jail, if it's not functioning correctly, it can't address mental health, it can't address the drug detox issues that they have, maybe they do need to build a new facility. What I had heard Sakai saying is, on the campaign trail, was if they build a new jail, what do you think is going to happen? They're going to fill it up with our community members. So why are we doing this? Don't build more jails. And then I guess the opposite side would be, well, if this current facility is old and we can't properly treat, you want us to be treating people humanely, so we need a new facility where we can do that.
Well, my theory is maybe not everybody that's there needs to be behind bars. Maybe there's other things that they need, but we do have to end the show.
Like technology, you can use GPS trackers,
the ankle monitors.
Yeah.
Thank you for being on the show.
Well,
we really do have to quit talking, Shannon.
Oh, okay. Yes, sir.
But watch Talk Law Radio, listen to Talk Law Radio, post a comment, let us know what you think. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
This has been Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt, brought to you by the Marquardt Law Firm. You can learn more at marquardtlawfirm.com. And be sure to listen to the full Talk Law Radio show Saturday mornings at 11 on 9:30 a.m. The Answer.
Most families don't realize they have hidden legal blind spots until it's too late. Wills, trusts, Medicaid planning, even protecting a business. These are the kinds of issues attorney Todd Marquardt helps uncover before they become problems. Todd is the host of Talk Law Radio, where each week he guides listeners through the legal challenges families, veterans, and business owners face, while showing them the practical steps to protect what matters most. Catch Talk Law Radio, Saturdays at 11 a.m. on 9:30 a.m. The Answer, 6:30 a.m. The Word, and now in Houston on AM 1070 and 103.3 FM The Answer, or anytime on YouTube. Planning isn't just about documents. It's about peace of mind, security for loved ones, and building a legacy that lasts. Don't wait for a crisis. Do it before you die.